Now, as P. Diddy's trial works its way into double digits, we are getting a glimpse of his fearless recklessness and an understanding of his past reactions when he becomes tormented with jealousy. And would you believe Cassie turned to a man on the moon, and his name was Kid Cudi after one of her many breakups with Diddy. Let's just say baby girl doesn't just shoot for the stars when she goes on a rebound, she shoots for the moon. So musician Kid Cudi, born Sean Muscudi, delivered significant and widely reported testimony in the ongoing trial of Sean Diddy Combs on Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. And as one of the most high-profile witnesses to take the stand, Muscudi provided a detailed account of alleged harassment and intimidation he claims to have suffered at the hands of Sean Diddy Combs. His testimony centered around his brief relationship with Combs' ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, and it aims to bolster the prosecution's claims of a pattern of controlling and violent behavior by Combs, which are central to the racketeering and sex trafficking charges he faces. Muscudi recounted how he and Cassie Ventura began a romantic relationship in late 2011. He testified that he was under the impression that Ventura's long-term on-and-off relationship with Combs had ended. The prosecution alleges that Combs, upon discovering their involvement, became enraged, setting in motion a series of threatening events. A pivotal moment described by Cudi was receiving a, quote, very nervous, very scared, late-night phone call from Ventura. She informed him that Combs was aware of their relationship, and had confiscated her phone. Well, how did she get a hold of him then, right? Shortly after, Muscudi stated Combs himself called, ominously declaring, "I'm on my way to your house." Fearing for Ventura's safety, Kid Cudi testified that he took her to a hotel before heading towards his own Los Angeles residence. En route, he received another alarming call, and this time from a mutual acquaintance, Capricorn Clark, a former employee of Diddy. Clark allegedly informed him that Combs and another individual were already inside of his home. Upon arriving, Cudi described a scene that, while not overtly violent, was obviously deeply unsettling. He found his security cameras facing away from their usual positions, and Christmas presents he had purchased for his family had been opened and disturbed. And most distressingly, his dog was found locked in a bathroom, appearing, quote, jittery and on edge. Kid Cudi testified that his strong belief that Combs was responsible for this intrusion, interpreting it as an act of intimidation. And during cross-examination, the defense emphasized that Kid Cudi had left his front door unlocked and that there were no signs of forced entry. Weeks later, in January 2012, the alleged intimidation escalated significantly. Kid Cudi told the court he received a frantic call from his dog sitter, and after dealing with that last doggy debacle, I'm sure that this pet sitter was required to have military experience. So now the pet sitter informed him that his Porsche 911 Cabriolet was ablaze in his driveway. He arrived to find a disturbing scene. A hole had apparently been cut in the convertible's roof, and a Molotov cocktail had been thrown inside, gutting the vehicle. Prosecutors presented compelling photographs of the charred interior to the jury. Kid Cudi unequivocally stated his belief that Combs orchestrated this attack, citing it as a direct consequence of his relationship with Cassie and Combs' earlier threats. He admitted, however, under cross-examination, that no direct evidence, such as fingerprints or DNA, linked Diddy or his associates to the scene, and no charges were ever filed. Kid Cudi testified he felt a need to confront Combs or Diddy directly, quote, before things got out of hand. A meeting was arranged at the Soho House in Hollywood. Kid Cudi's description of Combs' demeanor during this meeting captured significant attention. He described Diddy as standing with his hands behind his back, looking out a window, appearing, quote, calm, end quote. A calmness Kid Cudi found, quote, weird and off-putting, end quote, comparing him to a, quote, Marvel supervillain, end quote. During their conversation, Kid Cudi said they discussed the overlapping timelines of their relationships with Cassie. When Cudi directly asked Diddy about the car fire, Combs reportedly denied any knowledge, stating, "I don't know what you're talking about." Kid Cudi testified that he believed Diddy was lying. Combs' defense attorney, Brian Steele, undertook a rigorous cross-examination aiming to undermine Kid Cudi's narrative and shift focus onto Cassie Ventura. Steele suggested that Cassie had manipulated both men, leading Kid Cudi to agree with the statement, quote, "Both of you guys were played, true?" And end quote. The defense highlighted the lack of physical evidence tying Combs to the alleged break-in and the car fire. They also emphasized Kid Cudi's admission that he was unaware at the time that Ventura was still involved with Combs. Kid Cudi's testimony is considered crucial for several reasons, and well, first of all, it provides high-profile corroboration for Cassie Ventura's own testimony regarding Combs' alleged jealousy, threats, and violent tendencies. Ventura had previously testified that Combs had threatened to blow up Kid Cudi's car. Secondly, Kid Cudi's account of the break-in and the car fire, even if circumstantial in its link to Diddy, helps the prosecution build a picture of a pattern of intimidation and potential violence. These alleged acts could be interpreted as part of the broader, quote, criminal enterprise, end quote, that prosecutors claim Combs operated. The presence of a well-known figure like Kid Cudi on the witness stand also inevitably draws significant media attention to the trial, potentially influencing public perception, although the jury is instructed to consider only the evidence presented in the court. Right, like that happens all the time, right? Like, consider his celebrity status, his calm yet firm delivery, punctuated by moments like the, quote, Marvel supervillain, end quote, comment, and his blunt, quote, what the fuck, end quote, reaction to the car fire, which drew a laugh and an objection, made for memorable courtroom drama. Now, what do you think? Do you think that Kid Cudi's claims are accurate about Diddy messing with his dog? Or do you think that Diddy really was the one who broke into his home? Do you think that Diddy would really go do that type of thing himself, or do you think that this is something that he sent someone to do? Let me know in the comments section. And what are you guys thinking, and what do you think about the trial so far? Do you think the prosecution has gotten their point off, or has proved their case, or do you think the defense has proved their case? Let me know in the comments section. And the trial continues. Like, comment, and shoot that sub, bro.